Hey, what's up, you guys? After Show Reacts here. Don't worry. That one's free. You can cut it. You can keep it. You can throw it in the garbage.
Oh my god. And I'm Ian from Passion of the Nerd.
Okay.
I do Buffy stuff.
I guess I did try and do the accent. Or wait, no, I'm Ian from Passion of the Nerd.
Would that make me After Show Reacts?
And now you do your normal intro.
Hey, what's up, you guys? After Show Reacts here.
Perfect. We nailed it. You're hardly gonna have to edit that clip. Shan, I want to say thank you for having me on your channel. What are we watching today?
Porn.
Sweet. YouTube's really different in Australia.
Oh my god, I'm dying already. So today, we're going to be doing more of a rewatch of 2 episodes for you guys.
And since I've had direct interaction with your audience, I just want to let them know I'm not going to spoil anything. No spoilers. You don't have to send me messages.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say, I'm not going to be drinking.
No. Well, I'm not doing that either. But I'm also not going to be spoiling. No spoiling, no drinking. So, kind of weird that I've reached a point in my life where that has to be an announcement on a video, but so it goes. A couple of people had asked that, on Twitter, and I'd seen in your comments that you and I hang out and watch an episode together. And I didn't want my stupid reactions to interfere with your experience of the next thing that you were going to watch. So the two of us talked about it and picked out a couple of episodes that already are sort of cherished by her and near and dear to my heart. Does that about sum it up?
Yes, you did very well. I'm very pleased.
I got this reacting thing down.
Oh gosh, I have like the giggles now. It's bad.
It's fun to. It's fun to hang out and watch Buffy. That's all there is to that. You mentioned that some of your audience members have asked you to react to my videos, which is great. I'm honored. The thing that I try and do with the videos is, I tend to think that you can watch a show or watch a movie or watch a piece of fiction and enjoy it on a sensory level, like an exciting movie or a romantic movie or whatever. And then there's the academic dissection of the content, the analysis, and the show Buffy is very famous for being saturated with themes. I know you've already gotten through Angel Season 1, and in Angel Season 1, Angel is lonely, and so he actually runs into a loneliness demon in that season. But to me, there's just sort of pure academic dissection of, I love the show. Like, to me, it's this cherished, precious thing that means so much to me. You just finished The Gift, and that episode may have changed my life. And so, sort of the academic dissection leaves these things kind of dry, and what I'm always interested in is okay, we see the depths of the content now. Now let's bring it back around again and say why that matters to people. Why is that meaningful? How does that resonate? And so I sort of summarize the episode, analyze the episode, and then just try and leave people with why that analysis matters to them. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But if you ever do react to any of the videos, hopefully, I know there are a couple that people have told me are effective, that fulfill that premise that I set out to do originally. So.
Well, I don't think that I would react to them without your blessing, so.
Oh, you absolutely. Hey, you have my blessing. You have my blessing.
Thank you.
And I'm honored to be here. I'm honored for the invitation.
I'm honored. You invited me.
Well, I invited myself to your channel. In that case, I apologize. I didn't mean to be so presumptuous as to... It's just fun to hang out and watch Buffy with people.
Passion of the nerd and his, presumptuous.
He's such a turd, that guy.
That is a really hard word to say, presumptuousness.
Pretentious? No, presumptuousness. It is kind of difficult to say.
Peculiar.
I am quite peculiar. The only thing I was looking for was someone to share the love with. And now that the channel exists, we have to go all the way to the opposite ends of the earth to find each other to hang out with and fan over the show. But here we are.
I agree with you. When I was getting, when I just watched The Body, everyone was, constantly spamming me with messages, with hearts, and they made, a video. They a bunch of people made a video, just kind of like a care package, just telling me that they're all here for me, and it's okay.
That
Sweet.
That is so sweet. So, we are watching Fool for Love.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 by 5. Which
5 by what by 5?
5 by 5.
That's what Tara says. Tara.
I will be totally honest. I have the worst recall. A lot of my subscribers, one subscriber in particular, he knows who he is, will call me on every single detail I get wrong. If I get a line off by a couple of words, I've learned to love it. But I've also kind of consequently learned, if there's a line in this episode, I will get excited and say it wrong before they actually say it. Nighthawk. See, and now we've come full circle. I'm sure that that you're in a similar situation I have, where if there's a detail like that that you miss, someone will point it out.
Not just someone's.
Although you mentioned this to me yesterday, and I've already mentioned it to a couple of people. I love the thing that you caught that I've never heard anyone talk about, which is the detail. The first thing Anya says to Buffy at the hospital during the body. I wish Joyce wasn't dead. That.
See.
Now that I pointed out the significance of the wish, it just tears me apart.
See, I'm very much like Anya in that kind of situation. I don't know what to say. I say the stupidest things. I just recently got some news that my sister is moving away. And I asked questions like, but then you'll be far away. Why would you do that? But then you won't get to see the dogs.
Strangely literal.
So I resonated with Anya so much in that episode. So
yeah,
why I sort of picked it up, I guess.
I definitely I thought it was brilliant. That's such a common, what character of Buffy do you relate to the most? Is a question that I've heard a lot, and mine's probably Xander.
I love just the way that you said that. I'm a little bit ashamed to admit, but Xander.
a little bit of a reputation on the channel for being overly hard on Xander, and I think that might be because I see so much of myself in the character. Where I'm like, no! In Prophecy Girl, I went on a little rant. We'll try. I guess the guy's got to be undead just to make time with you. Dude! Shut up! Just stop! Just shut your mouth! Like... he did a good thing.
You're making it worse.
He did it. Like if you're interested in someone, you ask. Mm-hmm. That's bravery and courage, and that is a good thing. But like it's such a measure of character and how you handle rejection, and I guess I might have seen a little bit of myself in that scene, and it rubbed me the wrong way. I have you mentioned like. When anxious or in certain situations or whatever, just like either not knowing what to say or asking very literal questions. For me, it's like when I get nervous, I just talk too much. And that scene.
You nervous, Ian?
Oh yeah, that scene to me. No, this is like right in the middle. This is actually me talking a normal amount. But that scene to me is indicative of that same behavior where he can't turn it off. He's like in free fall. He's dealing with that pain of rejection.
And in his head, he's like, "Stop talking.
Stop talking. Stop talking." Right? And I externalized that internal neuroses that I imagined he had in that scene. So, but anyway, that's all. I believe we have episodes to watch.
We do. Our first episode that we're going to be watching is Fool for Love.
This is one of my favorites. I mean, this is one of my favorites.
Can you tell he's a fan?
I get very gestury, but I will try and stay in the middle of your shot. So that this
it's okay.
To not make this an impossible edit.
Alright, well, let's get into it then.
Yay! Oh, the punk pyre.
What is with his hair?
You know, I just gotta ask.
I don't know. Did you guys have? I don't know what the '80s was like in Australia, but he's very.
Neither do I. I wasn't alive.
Yeah, well, he's very '80s. Why? My brain just stopped working. Like Def Leppard. Oh, Def Leppard was English. They weren't American. Anyway, I'm old. He's very 1980s glam rock, and he looks beautiful.
Keep pushing the envelope, honey.
Oh, Joyce.
Did I just pull a Slayer-related?
Yeah, anytime there's a sweet moment, it's like, oh, Joyce.
Very short, annoying man.
Who's the man?
If I show you something you promise you won't tell.
I was the youngest, though. I didn't have a little sister or a little brother, so maybe
I was the youngest.
Maybe I was just like that. Can I hang out in your room?
Okay.
No, Ian.
Yeah, that was entirely me. It was,
Oh,
yeah.
Sure, I save your button. You don't
My
blow your
sister
chores
treated
on
me exactly like Dawn.
What are your feelings about Dawn?
Got it.
Like, as a character, like,
We're good.
she can be
Like, she's a
divisive.
little-
Bikini season.
She's a little whiny at times,
So,
but,
Dawn takes
you
out
know,
something.
like, I get it. She's me when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's kind of like, I had
Just a sweep.
14-year-old
Do me a
sister.
favor? You
Granted,
take
I
my
was
little-
9, but, you know, so it's a
Okay.
slightly different interpretation. It's just,
When do I get to patrol?
she seems like, I always feel like she's grounded, she's okay. I'm not a Dawn hater.
I feel like she was written the way that she was portrayed. Like, okay, that didn't even make sense. But I mean, like, her character was true to what she was supposed to be.
Well, that's interesting, right? So a friend of mine who has, who's a big Dawn, finds Dawn pretty irritating. She, what
Choo choo.
does this mean? Choo choo! And now I kind of want chips.
I'm here for it.
She pointed out that, remember, Dawn's not actually a 14-year-old girl.
She's
She's
6 months old.
a ball of light that was made by a bunch of men as what they imagined a 14-year-old girl would be.
Yeah.
And so, like, whenever she gets frustrated with Dawn, she's just like, oh yeah, the monks made her.
Mr. Stealth.
I'm fine.
It's their fault.
Guys, I'm thinking if we split up, we can cover more ground.
Also, why are
Tell you
they
what,
so like
I'll
bad
take the cemetery,
right
so
now?
you
They've
guys-
been
Yeah,
doing
they've
this
been
for
doing
like
this forever.
5 years. And like what, they bring chips?
Sorry.
Well, I guess Riley. The point is that Riley can never dial it down, and they've been on the Hellmouth now for 5 years. So
And they're so comfortable that they
yeah,
can
they're,
eat
they're a
chips.
little more like vampires, schmampires.
Also, why is she asking about why, like, Slayers? She died herself
Giles.
in season
Yeah.
Training
1.
harder than ever.
Well,
So she knows what
but-
makes it special.
but the master was a big old prophecy, right? This was just some dum dum in a graveyard, you know, and she feels like, I don't know, she feels like she's got it down now. So there's that sense of panic, like, wait, there was no prophecy, there was no whatever, what happened? And I love this little detail here.
The problem is, after a final battle, it's difficult to get any, well, the Slayer's not, she's rather,
It's okay to use the D word, Giles.
dead, and hence not very forthcoming.
Well, why didn't the Watchers keep fuller accounts of it? The journals just stop.
I suppose if they're anything like me, they just find the whole subject too,
Unseemly? Damn. Love you, but you Watchers are such prigs sometimes.
painful.
Oh,
I was going to say.
That's assuming the other Watchers get attached, though.
yeah. Well, he did say if they're anything like me, and I love their relationship
Battles would be
so much.
I agree.
Yeah,
There's no one left to tell the tales.
I want Anthony Stewart Head to be my father.
What?
I actually thought this was one of the like sex scenes going on in his head. Just the way that they.
Don't even start, Spike.
Well, he
Slayers. You killed 2 of them.
there was that bit in School Hard
Show me
when
how.
he's holding the giant pole, and she's like, "Can we do this without weapons?" And she's like, "I just like them. They make me feel all manly." You know,
Quite a few American
so
ways that are highly underrated. I prefer placing my energies into creating things of beauty.
I see. Well, don't withhold William.
This guy with his stupid
Yeah.
mustache being mean to my
Yeah.
Spike.
Ink's
things
still
are still wet.
Please, it's not finished.
Don't be shy. My heart expands. 'Tis grown a bulge in it, inspired by.
What's interesting is he's here. He has a bully, and in season 2, Angel is that bully. You know, so he's
Oh, that's so
sort of
true.
replicating those relationships.
That's actually
Angel
one of his better compositions.
takes Drusilla.
They call him William the Bloody because of his bloody awful poetry.
Well, you know what? They have bloody awful hair, okay? Don't be mean to my Spike.
That is a spectacular mustache, though. I once again I miss my facial hair.
Cecily?
Don't sneeze while mustache trimming, everyone.
Oh.
Mustache. I don't know what's going on.
Not written about me, are they?
They're about how I feel.
Yes, but are they about me?
Every syllable.
Oh, God.
Oh, I know. It's sudden. And please, if they're no good, they're only words, but the feeling behind them. I love you, Cecily.
Please, stop.
No, keep going.
I know I'm a bad poet, but I'm a good man.
I think so.
I just made a connection I'd never thought of
To see
before.
me,
I do see you.
I know that I'm a
That's the
monster,
point.
but you make me feel like a man.
You're nothing to me.
From The Gift.
Oh, yeah.
You're beneath me.
I bet you wish you
boy.
It's never gonna get old in my head.
You walk in worlds the others can't begin to imagine.
yes. I mean,
He's going. He's been crying.
I mean, Mother's expecting me.
I see what you want. Something glowing and glistening. Something effulgent.
It's like he just made a connection between his poetry
Yeah.
and her.
Well, and the way she moves too, she always seems either like kind of like a viper or a conductor. Like she's conducting a bunch of voices in her head, and just sort of sways. Sorry, I always get sucked in.
On you with this.
Completely inappropriate attire for skulking around a graveyard. I don't know. There's something I appreciate about Riley. I get it. I get why people. I get it, and after what happened and what he did, I get it. But there's just some sort of like brave tryhardishness or something like that. I don't know that I got.
Not in the corner.
Always with the big
So
sticks.
you traded up on the
Spike.
food chain. Then what?
No, please. I had to get myself a gang.
Perhaps it's my advancing years that makes me so forgetful, William. Remind me, why don't we kill you? What's that?
This is about as good as Angel's Irish accent has been so far. Boy, was it rough in
Not your mate.
becoming.
And when'd you
I
start
think it
talking
actually
like
he
that?
sounds
We barely
okay,
got
I
anyone
guess.
alive because of you.
That stuff's for the frilly cuffs and collars crowd. I'll take a good brawl any day.
Look at him, he's so
We
cute.
just yeah.
And every time you do,
His posh accent is already completely
I
gone.
think our boys are going to fight.
The King of Cups expects a picnic. But this is not his birthday.
I love Darla's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being hunted.
Look there.
that's brilliant strategy, really. Pure cunning.
Sawed off.
I don't
When was
know
the last
why.
time you unleashed it?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
pause because I got a
Fighting
question
mob.
actually. Why is it, right, that like Angel, well, Angelus, like really drives Drew insane?
Right.
Okay. But why does she hang out with them afterwards? Like, I get that she's insane, but why do they have her hang out with them?
I mean, just sort of technically from the standpoint of the group, having a seer is probably helpful. Like, Drew sees a lot of crazy things, like the stars when she's inside, but she also saw the solution to fixing her illness in season 2. She also saw Ethan Rayne coming to town in Halloween. So she's a seer. I mean, and I imagine, I think that's that might be part of the reason Angel might have targeted her anyway, and then to sort of keep her in the group. And sadistically, the way he, the things that he did to her may have also made her dependent on him, so that when she turns,
Yeah.
you know, she's already hooked in a part of the team. And in season 2, when Spike captures Angel in What's My Line? Angel with a Soul is the one she takes revenge on. She tortures Angel in that scene and pours holy water on him and talks about the evil deeds that he did to her. So it's very interesting, you know, sort of unsold. They're both hooked and attached to each other for all the wrong reasons. But to me, it's her power that would be the reason that they keep her around in the group.
Yeah, okay, I get that. I didn't think of
Yeah.
that before.
Back against the wall, nothing but fist and fangs. Don't you ever get tired of fights you know you're gonna win?
No, a real kill. A good kill. It takes pure artistry. Without that, we're just animals.
Poofed, huh?
Oh my god, that just reminds me of Spike's line in Crush. Like, oh, these vampires have nested here. So what do you think? They're a bunch of poofers?
I mean, if you're looking for fun, there's death, there's glory, there's sod, all else, right? I was young.
So how'd you kill
If
her?
you're looking for fun, there's death, there's glory, and forget all else.
Oh.
Lesson the
That's
first.
interesting.
Oh.
Slayer.
I don't know what that connection is, but it seems like that's a connection.
I've already got mine.
That's
Death is
interesting,
her art.
actually.
Glory's the big bad of the season.
Huh.
Good thing, too.
An interesting theory that was posted in my comments. The sword that gives him his scar,
Is this
right?
moment?
And vampires are
Huh.
yeah, but also that vampires are supposed to heal, so they thought that it was like some kind of special
Oh, that's
sword.
interesting.
Yeah. And it's kind of like he's wearing trophies from both of his kills. Like both the slayers of his kills.
She has
Because he's got like a scar and then he's got the jacket at the end.
she has such a heartbreaking line here.
What doesn't she fight?
Goes with the mama. Dude.
Well, I think he broke her arm and then got enough
I
blood.
don't speak Chinese.
Tell my mother I'm sorry.
Have a taste.
His finger kind of looks like a sausage. Like it's just kind of distracting.
Well, you can't imagine vampires are very sanitary. It's interesting too, from Drusilla's standpoint, Spike and Angel kind of represent, like, Spike loves her unconditionally and Angel is her abuser, and she's sort of attached to
Yeah.
both of them.
To be humble.
It's really
My little
interesting.
Spike just killed himself a slayer.
It's so weird because this is sold Angel right now.
Yeah, this is sold Angel. I always forget that.
Yeah.
That makes you one of us.
And then she says right here that she smells fear
Oh!
from those people that she just left. Yeah.
Tell you what.
I picked up on it
I'll give you
like
first
when I
crack
was
at it.
rewatching the like cuts
I smell fear.
because it's literally where
This whole
he's just
place
come
reeks of
from.
it.
It's intoxicating.
And like
Nervous rebellion
Angel
starting
just
to
picks himself up just there.
And here comes the iconic shot.
By Blondie there. It's like the same shot
Yeah.
as Angel, but Angel doesn't do anything kind of cool like
No,
that.
he broods. That's his move. Just stares and looks sullen.
Best night of my life.
How to put this in a museum?
This guy,
You know what they
I
put in
better put
museums?
this steak in this museum because
Mostly
I
good things.
staked her. You know, it's funny.
And you just hope it's not Mr. Pointy. Oh, but Riley gets it back.
Yes, that's all.
Yeah,
Scary.
cool guys don't look at explosions.
to me.
Yes, Spike, give it to her.
Yeah, I just caught that too. I'm like, oh.
What?
Less in a second. Ask the right questions. You wanna know how I beat him? The question isn't how'd I win. The question is why'd they lose.
What's the difference?
There's a big difference, love.
She doesn't even
How'd you kill the
flinch.
second one?
A bit like this.
That didn't hurt?
I knew it couldn't touch you. But there's no intent to
This scene just has
Chip
so
that
much
shoved up my brain
energy.
never activates.
She seems poised.
If on the other hand,
And the way all of this is edited.
There's a few things here. It's like amazingly edited.
The editing's
Things here
incredible.
where it's like, shouldn't some of these hits actually hurt him though?
Well,
a touch of your style.
I believe, like he said, he knew he can't touch her.
Yeah, but that right there.
Well,
If they're
if
reenacting
yeah,
it.
assuming it's a one-for-one reenactment. It's kind of interesting and depressing to think of Buffy beating him up now in exactly the same way as the Slayer who he killed.
How does it happen?
Death is your art. You make it with your hands, day after day.
That
Ugh.
final gasp, that look of peace.
Part of you is desperate to know what's it like. Where does it lead you?
Apparently to heaven.
You see, that's the secret. Not the punch she didn't throw, or the kick she didn't land. She merely wanted it. Every Slayer has a death wish.
That scene is so difficult to chat through because it's so good that you just have to
Yeah.
just sit and stare.
Do something.
He's like
about it,
trying to
hit me.
push.
Come on. One good swing. You know you
It's
want
that sex and violence thing for him.
So do I.
Give it me good, Buffy.
Hit me or kiss me.
Spike. What the hell are you doing?
All of that bravado.
And he just tries to play it
Yeah,
off too.
all of that bravado just falls apart in it's like he's a balloon and she just punctures it. What the hell are you doing? And that there's a second of him just trying to keep it together and then the balloon's empty and he falls over. It's so
I
good.
would never be you. You're beneath me.
This was explained to me because I was like,
Yeah.
actually, because I asked in my reaction, why she was so shocked when she found out that Spike was in love with her. Like, because he straight up tried to kiss her here, and she's like, it sort of seemed like she was like, you know, I would never be
Yeah.
with you, Spike, you know? But it was explained to me that, like, he was she thought he was talking about, I want to be the one to kill you. And then she's like, it would never be you that would kill me.
Well, I get that, but now that you've pointed it out, when she leans in and says, "What the hell are you doing?" you think she's responding to him thinking he's going to be the one to kill her. She doesn't realize that he's trying to kiss her in that scene.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's something to, yeah, I think you're onto something. There's something to unpack there.
Well, it's just what was pointed out to me in my
It did-
comment section because I was like, I didn't understand what people were what he was talking
Yeah,
about.
when he does later on say,
Specifically.
and she's surprised about his crush. I mean, then again, if we're being honest, Spike wanting to kiss and have sex doesn't necessarily mean he's got a crush. You see what I'm
That's
saying there?
true.
Like,
Yeah. Like what Buffy, like, when Joyce was like, did you do anything to lead him on?
Yeah.
Well, I do beat him
Well,
up
I do beat him up a lot.
Spike, that's like third base.
I mean, like him wanting to kiss her right there might have been just him wanting to kiss her right there. So that, I mean, that makes sense to me that maybe she didn't read crush out of that.
Although pretty funny, just imagine if Buffy hadn't have stopped him there. What do you think would have came out of that?
I don't know. But it ends up being crushing and sad, and it's one of the most pathetic Spike moments when he starts gathering the money together.
Yeah. And then he starts crying.
Yeah, I mean, there's a weird... It's like he just...
He's crying! He's like 100-something years old and he's crying!
He just feels so cheap and used. What do you think would have happened there if she hadn't stopped him?
I don't even know.
What are you doing?
Beneath me.
It looks like funny. Well, maybe
The way the
zero.
show calls back, you know, that he's telling like a one-off story in Lover's Walk.
You taste like
She's left with Chaos Demon. They're all slime and antlers. And then 2 seasons later, in kind of in a character building moment, to call back to that is so good.
I should take off.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
She's just holding a beer.
You can't blame the girl, Spike. You're all covered with her. I look at you. All I see is the Slayer.
Where are you going?
Oh, I was hoping to put this off, but, you know, the nothing that I've been dealing with the last couple of weeks? It might not be nothing.
What is it?
I'm staying overnight at the hospital for observation. I'm getting a CAT scan.
That's
Well,
not
it's
okay.
not okay.
It's really not okay.
And they say, even if there is something, it's still very early if they didn't see it before. I'm gonna be fine.
No, you're not.
It's funny, I find Joyce kind of frustrating in seasons 2 and 3, but in 4 and 5, when Buffy moves out, Christine Sutherland does such a wonderful job. I love Joyce in those 2 seasons.
I like that she kind of like accepts her.
Yeah. Yeah, she lets go.
Yeah.
I mean, she lets go.
What's wrong?
It's so good.
I don't want to talk about it.
Is there something I can do?
Just be bluntly there. Like turns his
Yeah, the
head.
little tilt. He does so much good stuff there without a line. It's so sweet.
Oh my god, I just picked up on
What?
something. Just the way that his gun was just holding.
Yeah, he looks so awkward. It doesn't look intimidating or anything.
Doesn't look anything sexual or anything. Just pats her on the back. This is like your arch nemesis, and he's just chilling here, making sure
Doesn't
you're alright.
say anything, but gives her company. I'm just gonna sit here, alright? There's the initial problem of him being a romantic in an unrequited relationship, and then he's murdered by Drusilla, technically speaking, and then they have a romantic relationship and it falls apart, and then Buffy shuts him down and says she's beneath him, and yet he still shows up in that final moment and just sits next to her. I mean, it's this weird, like, giving tree kind of... it's such an interesting episode. I love that episode so much. And just the two of them. They have so much chemistry in their scenes together. Like, the energy of the choreography. There's just so much to love in that episode. It's so good. And then the way that ending kind of just... after all the hurt feelings and all of that, just ties it together in that lovely little private moment between the two of them. She doesn't tell him to go away.
Yeah.
She doesn't kick him out. She doesn't ask to be alone.
Yeah.
She accepts that gift of the company. You know, it's so good.
I love Spike so much.
You're capturing something that it tends to be lost for everyone. You know, everyone's feelings about these characters and favorite relationships and favorite episodes and all of that evolve as the show goes along. So having a conversation with you in this moment about your feelings about all of the characters and about the relationships and where things have gone and so forth is so dramatically different than speaking with...
Yeah.
You know, someone who's finished the series.
It's like the beginning of Buffy. I absolutely, like, when I was putting together my montage, which I mentioned earlier, like, one of the things that I said was, like, oh, Cordelia, what a bitch. Like, I straight up went on, like, a spiel about how I don't like Cordelia, and now she's probably my favorite character on Angel, like.
Yeah. I tend to hone in on your specific episodes of yours where I'm like, oh, I can't wait until she gets to this moment and then sees what happens. But, you know, like, I know that I'm working on my Where the Wild Things Are script right now, like we said in the beginning. And I know not everyone is going to watch that review. And I loved your montage of For Riley in that episode. Their relationship has made... I in doing the episode guide this time around, I've really honed in on the Forrest Riley thing, and it has made Forrest's character so much more palatable. Because if you're like, okay, he has motivations, I understand, beyond just being a big dumb guy.
But do you think maybe his motivation in the show was to make Riley more likable?
If so, they kind of failed spectacularly.
Like,
that would make sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying, you know, this is what the initiative is, but Riley's a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, but boy, was it unsubtle. If that was the ambition, like, boy, is Forrest a hammer, and the show's guilty of very two-dimensional symbols. One of the ones that I harp on all the time is the werewolf hunter in phases. You're a girl. How could you expect to... See, you can't, like... He's so stupid and forgettable. The phases where Oz turns, and it has the big plastic werewolf in season 2. There's a werewolf hunter. Yeah. And he just walks around. You're a girl. A girl couldn't kill a werewolf. You're a girl. I get it. He's like sexism and misogyny. I get it. But if they were trying, so it could be Forrest was shooting for that. But either way, even if they didn't intend for Forrest to be in love with Riley, there's enough ways that fits that I'm like, that's more interesting to think of it that way.
Even when you put things in slow motion where he looks in one direction,
Thank
or he
God
just
we're
like
pretty.
giggles a little bit, or
yeah, I prefer, like, it helps me get through season 4. So I'm okay with those kinds of interpretations. But
Oh, don't look up for Riley fanfic. You'll find not great things out there. Not at all.
yeah, in the episode of Earshot, people regularly complain that Jonathan is in the tower at the end with a deer hunting rifle that's
Yeah.
as tall as he is.
I
And that was
mentioned that.
going-
I was like, why is he going to shoot himself with a sniper?
Yeah. But there's a scene in that episode, and I started thinking about it. There's a scene in that episode that's played for laughs, but Willow is interrogating Jonathan. And she says, sometimes people don't pay attention to us, do they, Jonathan? Sometimes the fantasy isn't enough, is it, Jonathan? We have to make it real. So, Willow is a magic caster. Willow has unknown volumes of power that she's not familiar with just yet. Maybe Willow
Suggested
influenced Jonathan to do that. And sometimes the fantasy isn't enough. We have to make it real. In season 4, he casts a spell on the whole town that turns him into a superstar. Every one of his fantasies is true and real. And I always think I think it explains a few things. First of all, Buffy is in the cafeteria standing next to Jonathan and can read minds. And he sounds very calm. The
like
voice
a
in his head. The voice that she hears in Jonathan's head is, "She touched me." You know, he hears. He's not thinking crazy stuff. He's not thinking about the next day. But if he was already thinking about killing himself, wouldn't there have been something? And then later in the tower, he picks an impulsively stupid weapon that looks like he didn't plan ahead. It's a sniper. It's a giant sniper rifle as tall as he is.
Yeah.
And he's drenched in sweat.
Like, does he really want to do this?
Does he? Yeah. And I mean, normally in a scene where anyone was considering suicide or whatever, okay, yeah, it all makes sense. But putting all of those details together, I now watch that scene with Willow. I'm like, oh, she influenced him to do that without knowing that she was influencing him.
It's kind of
that.
like Something Blue when she had and she was like, your demon magnet became a demon magnet.
Yeah, well, I mean, she casts a verbal spell in that one, but also in Becoming Part 2, or Becoming Part 1, Giles says to her, these are very, very powerful magics. They may open a door that you're channeling through you. They may open a door that you can't close. Implying that there's, as of that scene onward, the door is open. There is some intrinsic magic to her. That's fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like I'm headcanoning it. I certainly don't think that was intended in that episode, but that now fills in the weird gaps in that episode in my head, and I go, oh yeah, I love that episode.
Yeah. I like that.
The show is not perfect, obviously. We've all seen the first season, but I love that it elicits that level of passion from people, that there is a desire to sort of fill that in. I think that earshot theory just works.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
So that was a rewatch of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 5, Episode 7, titled...
My favorite. I mean, Fool for Love.
Yes, the episode is Ian's favorite.
It's so good. I just want to say thank you for having me on. It's so much fun to watch and share Buffy stuff with other people. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys enjoyed this, we're going to be doing another one, but for Angel, the episode 5x5.
5x5.
I don't know how much of this is going to be cut, but there will be a full version on Patreon. Do you guys want to see it?
And check out youtube.com/Passion of the Nerd or The Passion of the Nerd. I always forget which one it is. So try both.
It'll be linked below.
Or don't. That's okay.
It'll be linked below. Definitely check him out because he's amazing. Yeah, so we'll see you in the next one.